What's good, man? It's OG Drip, man. This channel where we talk about the spiritual truth and how to utilize energy on a day-to-day basis, man. And today, y'all, we got to talk about something, you know what I mean? How to utilize the sun being a Libra. So if you born with the sun in Libra, pay close attention. These are the people birthdays from like September the 23rd to like October the 23rd. It depends on the year, you know what I mean? So before we get down to this, we're going to break down actually what's going on here, right? So when you think about Libra, what do you know about Libra? You know that it's cardinal and it's air, and the native planet is Venus, right? So when you think about how all of these things play out, you know that the cardinal is basically the beginning of a season, right? So we know that the beginning of fall is when Libra take place. So when we say fall, what is being falling here is basically the sun. So when we say the sun is debilitated, this is kind of what we mean by that when we start getting deep into like the Libra constellation. So you'll notice yourself being born with the sign of Libra that it's easier for you to take actions off of basically how others feel around you than to actually take actions off your own shoes. You know what I mean? And that's just how it is, because you have Saturn is exalted, so that also plays a role into it. And like I said, now by Saturn being exalted, you feel like this is the way that you gain structure, and this is the way that you is being put together. So you see it from like other people's perspective, but you know what to be put together. So you know what need to be done. So this will kind of help y'all come into the thing of being able to justify things and being able to be harmonious. But you know, at the end of the day, it's like this when it comes to you guys. Y'all love to think for others. You guys love to think, period. But sometimes thinking could be like the downside of thing. Overthinking, you know what I'm saying, could also cause physical laziness. You've done thought about stuff so much, you've been got mentally exhausted. Like, it's for real. So you got to make sure you try to avoid things like that, especially being a Libra. And then one thing I got to say about that is try to surround yourself around people that's more in a positive way for you. That don't mean every time it's going to be positive, because I'm going to tell you something also about yourself as being Libras, you know, as being like Sun and Libra. Sun and Libra makes you like sometimes be over harmonious. Like, if stuff is already in place, sometimes it don't need to be in the place that you want it to be just for it to be how I'm gonna say, like using the Saturn, just for it to be stable. You know what I mean? It don't have to be you the one that make it all the time. So sometimes that could be the problem what a Libra do, right? So something already be going right, the job site already going right and stuff, everybody flowing, even though this person and that person talking a little junk to each other, it for the most part is keeping the job going. A Libra will probably, like, in that time, try to take the advantage of getting in between them two to try to justify you shouldn't talk to this person like that, or you shouldn't even be listening to a person. You shouldn't have to deal with a person that's talking to you like that. You know what I mean? Any type of way they can to try to bring out you're right type of stuff. This is where that energy come from. You're right from doing that type of stuff. That's what I like to tell you people too. Like, it's deep, because you know, a lot of people don't really care about others. But when it comes down to you having Venus, so this is like your passion to like make sure things around you is clear. You know what I'm saying? Anybody you tagging hands with. So for instance, like the 7th house, when you talk about the relationships and stuff like that, yeah, if you in a friendship with a Libra, relationship, whatever, they're gonna be the most best person for you. If anything, they're gonna stand for you before anybody else in the world will. You feel me? But sometimes that's the point. Sometimes they'll stand for you when you don't need them to be standing for you, and sometimes they'll be stepping on you. You feel what I'm saying? So sometimes that could be like a masculine energy overload. It's like when they're taking action off of your principles more than they doing off of their own, or just doing too much from the general of taking too much far over on what you got going on. Now, that is what a Libra go through for the most part. Now, when you're a teenager and stuff like that, yes, you have different parts of life you go through, especially being like teen Libras. They always been hypersensitive, right? So when it comes to peer pressure, so they don't like to be put in the spotlight, but they do want to be popular. Like, it's kind of weird. It's just the thought of them being in people's head. It's not actually about the person that got to actually be around them all the time. So that's another difference between, but yet the same between the Venus and between Libra. I mean, the Venus with the Taurus constellation and the Libra constellation. This is what makes the difference between those two. So you got one that's an Earth and you got one that's an air. And you see how the air is more on a mental note. That is why you're like that. Even to the point that even when you hear like singers and stuff, a lot of singers that be good, normally, especially if they're like a Libra sun in the 3rd house, just saying, Like a lot of them know how to sing and know how to talk smoothly, right? That's because that naturally comes with them. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like now what I tell you Libras, right? Be careful of your own little superpower, because it could be the thing that superly hurts you. Because at the end of the day, a Libra be one of the ones that say something too. They try to make it sound good, but in reality, it's sounding bad as hell. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, that's when we know that that air sign definitely take effect when it come down to communication. So when you talk about air, you know communication, mental. So when you thinking about all of that, you can see where all of these attributes and where all of this stuff is actually coming from, and where all this stuff is actually making you out to be. You feel me? So at the end of the day, you can see that you have to. It's like this. Being a Libra sun, the down part about being in a messed up family hole or being around people that's not as positive is it rub off on you. You know what I mean? In a weird way, it rub off on you, and it's based off your influence. And like I just said, that's because you don't have the sun there to be able to take actions for within yourself for yourself. So it's like you only can take actions within how others looking at you for yourself. Like if others like, oh, you should have been doing this, doing that. Oh, you should have been a better person. That's like your whole way of thinking throughout your whole life. Your whole life is like you trying to prove someone wrong or how they was thinking, or your whole life you battling with someone else, how they thought and how they put things in. Even if it's small, all the way down to the biggest thing in the world. So you got to remember that even though the sun debilitated, fight throughout it. Use your Saturn to, you know, withstand yourself, to be mentally prepared. So in order for you to do that, like I said, it come off your surroundings. So when we talking about the surroundings, the people you communicate with, which is also part of your air, make sure you ain't picking up no fart. That's how I like to say it, which is picking up pieces of shit, keeping them in your surroundings and your area. Not every time your wind blow, aka not every time you just trying to express yourself, they coming up with some cloudy ideas and some bad things that's like shutting you down and making you feel less of yourself. The sun already don't shine bright for you. It's the fall. You feel what I'm saying? So when people doing that to you, it definitely is going to take a lot from you. So keep yourself shining out here. Keep yourself up. And that's one thing I like to say, man, about the Libra sun thing. If we want to get deeper, we could get deeper and have more conversations about it. But I just wanted to break it down for easy understanding so people could see that they don't have to run to this video to know about themselves, but rather know about themselves and then dig into this video and see how these things may make out to be true. And you'll see what is going on. You'll see why they're true. You know what I mean? And you'll see where it's coming from. So I do like doing these type of videos to help people understand themselves, because we have more people that are able to understand themselves and make themselves a better, whatever it is, a better person, however they want to judge themselves or whatever, better God. Some people want to call themselves all type of stuff, but it don't matter. Whatever they make themselves the best they could get, it'll only reflect the world and make the world a better place in that sense, man. And y'all already know what time it is, man. I'm out, man. OG Drip.